We live? F it, we'll do it live. Who was that?
That was Bill O'Reilly.
Dude, that's one of my favorite videos. His hair starts...
Dude, he gets
flopping.
upset.
His hair starts flopping around and do it live.
Do it live. We'll do it live.
Me and Dylan, we've ran that a few
It's
times.
a good one. We use that a lot, like, in the military. Like, if you're ever doing, like, a ceremony.
Yeah.
Or any kind of, like, anything that you have to rehearse.
Right.
And you got to shoot from the hip. the colloquial response to, like, having to adjust fire in the moment.
Right.
Is, we'll do it live.
F it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. I guess we got to bleep that.
No, hey, man. No F's the first five. We talked about this. We talked about this.
Oh, man.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, our editor is going to have a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's okay.
You're
That's
gonna
all
have to break
right.
the news to him.
Yeah, little bleeps up at the beginning. Never hurt anybody.
That's okay. Bill O'Reilly didn't care.
He didn't
care about the first five.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's on national network television, and he's first five, last five. He said, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." Man.
You're listening to the Hardpoint with One Punch Dad and Code Rome's.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Okay. That's probably a good spot, right?
I think so. That was a better direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I was thinking, where are we going to find that first laugh?
That
man?
natural pause. I think we hit it. We hit it quicker than I thought. We hit it like 60 seconds.
That pace. This episode is going to be about 10 minutes long.
Welcome to the Hardpoint. My name's Josh. I go by One Punch Dad online.
My name's Cody. I go by Code Rome's online.
And thank you for joining us for this inaugural maiden voyage.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been working on this for days and also weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something that I have wanted to get back into podcasting and have a forum where I could really kind of talk and be myself.
Yeah.
For a long time. And I think we both, as people who enjoy podcasts, like, this is something that I feel like we're both kind of
A daily listener.
Yeah. It's, whether I'm driving into work, usually I will say this about podcasting. I can no longer do a whole workout with podcasting playing in the background.
I could never do that. I don't know.
No, I can round out a workout. Like, if my last, like, my cool down essentially can be like if I want to finish up a podcast or something, but I cannot go start to finish with just people talking into a microphone.
I can't. And my short stint with running, I remember you said on long runs you'd listen to a podcast, and that doesn't give me the juice. Podcast to me is driving in the car or cleaning the house is a good one.
Yeah.
Cleaning the house,
That's definitely a good one.
Doing some dishes, something like that. So if you're doing dishes,
any kind of menial task or tedious task where you can kind of check out a little bit, podcasts are really clutch for that, especially for road trips, for sure.
Well, you said you want to get back in podcasting. I've always wanted to just do something like this.
Great. So this is not your first time in front of the mic. You did go on a radio show once.
I went on a radio show. I had 3 seconds of fame. 3 seconds of fame. And the microphone I was talking into was the one that Ice Cube, like 10 minutes prior, was just talking to.
His hot breath still staying the mic. Yeah.
I know. And they asked me if sitting in that chair, being at that microphone, if I felt anything. And I said, I think I could rap.
Yeah.
And they said, let's not, let's not. Let's stop short of that.
I feel like I've received some of his gift.
Yeah. I felt like I was tingling, a little bit. But love the radio, love podcasts. And I've always been kind of enamored with being on a show and never thought I'd have the opportunity. This, like you said, it feels like it's been a long time. What is it, like a month ago we started talking about this?
It is. I remember exactly where I was. I was at one of my son's baseball games, and I had the idea. I got the privilege of going on the Unsubscribe podcast with our good friends Eli and Batty.
Yeah.
Had a great time doing that. And actually, it was really Eli's kind of suggestion that, hey, this is something I think you could do.
Yeah.
And so I kind of walked around with that for a week or two and was like, man, maybe, but I really, no one wants to listen to one guy talk by himself for an hour.
That's
and a
hard
half.
too.
It is.
The single guys on a radio show that have like a 3-hour show with nobody to bounce things off of.
That's like that's max charisma. I feel like to be able to do that. And I just don't know if I possess that. No. So I kind of thought about it, man. And for anyone who doesn't know, Cody's actually my cousin. We grew up together. He's a little bit younger than me. I have all sisters, who I love dearly, but all I ever wanted growing up was a little brother. And meanwhile, I had this kid living down the street from me who's a few years younger than me, who is effectively my little brother. And wouldn't you know it, we get into adulthood and realize we're pretty much the best of fucking friends.
Yeah.
So we text regularly, we talk regularly, and when we get together, we have some of the most iconic conversations. And I mentioned to you last night specifically, your ability to tee things up and suggest things, whether it's a show or a book to read or just a thought even. Yeah. Just the way you will pose a thought to me has always had a unique power.
Yeah.
And so it really came together pretty quick that this is the guy I really need to have.
If we could capture those private moments, you know, on a microphone, on a camera, then, you know, maybe you would make something that people halfway wanted to listen to. And like you said, we grew up together, but when you're younger, we're 7 years apart. Is that right?
6 or 7, yeah.
6 or 7. Yeah. That's a lot more apparent when it's, you know, 10 and 4 and then, you know, 8 and 14.
But that gap wanes so much. And especially, I think we kind of reconnected when I was early 20s and you were kind of still in high school or whatever. But I remember kind of linking back up and realizing, like, man, he's into really good music.
Yeah.
He's actually kind of fun to talk to and fun to be around. Like, he's not a child anymore.
Yeah. I think music was kind of the thing that, like, our initial bond, maybe.
It was. In fact, I remember because you came to, it was back in 2008, which seems like ages ago. Yeah. You came to my basic training graduation, and I went to basic training here in Lawton, Oklahoma, of all places.
Circle.
Yeah, it all came full circle, man. Yeah. But we went to the Hastings in town back when Hastings was still a thing.
I remember. Yeah. I remember that day.
And I was looking for, I wanted to buy a CD of a band I liked because it was like family day and I had some money to spend. And it was all, there's the beer.
There it is.
Yep. All That Remains.
It was All That Remains, This Darkened Heart.
This Darkened Heart. It was their first album, which is honestly their best album. I really fell off of them.
It was all downhill from there.
It really was all downhill from there.
That still, if you spin that today, it's still good. But I remember that there was an All Shall Perish, right?
I think All Shall Perish came later. I do remember kind of connecting over a very specific All Shall Perish song.
Was it just the one CD that first time?
I think so.
Because I think you bought a laptop like that same trip.
I did.
And
I
you loaded everything up and then gave me that CD, which I still have.
I did. I loaded the digital copy.
Yeah.
This 2008 technology was weird. Like, this is how music used to happen. Like,
you probably stuck that CD in the laptop.
Yeah, you stuck the CD in the laptop, and it gave you permission to rip the songs onto the laptop, which I did. And then I gave you the album.
Yeah. I still have it. Like, I still have that.
You still have the physical album?
I do.
Oh, buddy.
I could find it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. That one All Shall Perish album, like all those albums that you gave me, I don't even know why I still have them. I could bring it. I could show you. It's like a time capsule.
Lugging those things around like a champ, man. But no, dude, we just, between having obviously like similar music tastes, and I think just similar philosophies on life and fitness and stuff, it was kind of a no-brainer.
I think music first. I think games second. If not 1A, 1B, it was like 1 and 2. You know, they were probably games we bonded over to. Call of Duty has been a big player since day one with us.
It's such a linchpin, and I know like right off the bat, if we lose you because we're Call of Duty players, like so be it. Like we did enjoy some Battlefield actually a couple years ago. We got really into Battlefield 5.
It doesn't have the staying power to me. It has good times and short spurts every now and then.
It does.
It's not the one that's going to keep me coming back.
I agree. I look at Battlefield as a completely different game, honestly. Yeah. Like I don't know if you can draw the same line between like Forza and Gran Turismo, but
maybe
for me, I feel like to pick it up and play and just feel athletic and agile
Yeah.
like you do in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like you just can't really
You
get
can't
that
throw a
in there.
tomahawk across the map in Battlefield and stick somebody right between the eyes.
If
after
you do, I think
ricocheted.
you're built different, honestly.
Maybe
but-
you can. I don't know. If people might be pounding their dash right now listening to that. Like, yes, you can. I can't. Let me clarify.
yeah, that could never be me.
I can't do that. So
Yeah.
that games, and then the older we got, that 6 or 7 year age gap just kind of vanished.
It really
Nowadays, we might as well be the same age. To me, you know.
I agree with that. I think I try not to do very many hey, listen, young man, you know, back in my day. I try not to do that to anyone who I'm talking to who is whatever, like default younger than me or you know, not to condescend. Like I cannot stand when people grandstand by position of I'm a little bit older than you.
Right.
When you were born, I was still shitting my pants. Because that's pretentious.
These were all fields.
Yeah.
This was a field.
Yeah, see all this? This was all a field when I was a kid. Fuck that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I really do feel a peer, brotherly bond with you, man. Even with the age gap. So having you, who's been a part of my life, effectively my entire life, at least my waking life, you know, and also that your family, like, it means a lot that you're here with me, man, and that you were not only like not hesitant but eager to do this with me, and had like a clear vision of the work that needed to be done to get where we're at today, which by the way was no small feat. we spent probably a solid 3 hours in here last night.
Yeah,
orienting cameras and doing mic checks.
It was fun though. I don't think I've ever done anything quite like this, but it's fun. You know, I think we both love tech, plugging stuff in. You know, just kind of messing with it, messing with the
labor
lighting.
of love.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was fun. It didn't feel like something we had to do. It felt like we get to come up here and set everything up and frame the picture.
Get it all dialed in, man.
And I'm glad we get to do this. Because I think we've always wanted to do something together, going back to like you've always played music, and I had a time there playing music, and I think we kind of fantasized about like being in a band together. Timing was always kind of weird. The distance was always kind of weird, and that just never panned out. And I know once we decided to do this together, we were like, it's not a band, but it's kind of the next best thing. You know, going into a project together that we can both pour into and just be a part of. Create together. It's essentially the same thing.
Absolutely. I feel like this feels like a very natural way to do that. And then like obviously like I don't know, like you mentioned being in a band, like that's something like it's so much work, and it's so much like relying on other people's enthusiasm for a unified goal,
right?
Which is also a very tall order. It's a very difficult thing to ask for, and especially me being kind of transient, inherently transient, being in the military. Like, even if I were to find 3 or 4 other people who are like, "Hey, we all think we want to make this pretty similar product.
Yeah,
we all want to produce whatever music, or even whatever, do a podcast or create something." That is fleeting from the jump.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So.
I feel like logistics play a way bigger role in being in a band too. Like with podcasting, we're going to do one a week. We're going to say that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I said it. One a week, and I think
promise. There it is.
See if we can hold up to it. One a week, and so I live in the DFW area. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. It's not bad, and I think 1 or 2. At least 1 a month in person would be ideal.
Yeah.
2 would be stellar. But to tie back to the point, we can just hop on a Zoom call and record one of these. If you're in a band, you can't really do that. You need to be within like a drivable distance of each other.
It's bonkers to me. It's bonkers to me to find out like a lot of bands, like big touring national acts, are so scattered. Like a lot of your, like probably I'd say most of your favorite bands, like up to and including like the Metallicas and the Slipknots of the world,
don't live in the same place.
Don't live in the same time zone.
Yeah.
They are scattered. I remember we talked to Carnifex.
Yeah.
Because they invited us out. We got to go sit backstage with them and visit with Scott and the gang. It was a really good time. Love those boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're
Put on a hell of a show too.
They really did, man. They rocked it, man. It was a good time, but they're not co-located at all, and they're doing national and international tours constantly. They're recording albums, writing music. Thank God. I mean, like in the digital age, obviously,
technology's made it more possible,
much easier.
I think if you have some sort of established fan base like that, you can do it. But like, if you and I were trying to start a band right now with nobody knew who we were and we don't live together, that'd be hard. Because you can't hop on a Zoom and do a show.
I feel like your schedule and your job, your whatever, your actual career needs to be specifically conducive to that. Yeah. Because that is something that you have to have an abundance of time.
Yeah.
And resources, honestly, in the form of like money to travel. Right before we hit record, I told Cody, "Hey, I'll tell you about
with the beer.
Drink a beer on a podcast, man. You'll be burping. Now I'm the burping one."
What he said is, don't drink beer before the podcast because you start burping, and then he said, "No, I'm going to get a beer for
promptly
the
open the beer."
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do. But anyway, man, I am glad we're doing this, and it just feels.
Me too.
It feels very natural, and it feels. I feel excited. I think for you guys listening, you're probably thinking, okay, what's gonna make me hit play on episode 2?
Yeah,
we wanted to create a show that obviously, like if you know who I am, I make military content.
Yep,
that's a known. That's probably going to come up on a regular basis.
Sure.
We're going to have military and non-military guests on the show periodically.
I'm the civvy.
Yeah. Cody is the civvy. Cody is not in the military.
I'm repping all the people not in the military.
Yes. He represents the people.
The people's arm.
But really, I wanted to make a show. You know, there's plenty of military and military adjacent shows out there that are just telling stories about being in the military, right? Yeah. They're talking about geopolitical conflicts and all this stuff that is kind of a bummer. And it's not, I want to make it clear that this is, the intent behind the show is not to ignore those things.
Right.
It's not to pretend it's not there. But speaking personally, the goal of my content has always been to cheer people up. My bio line has always been, I hope it made you laugh today.
Yep.
That is very much kind of the energy we want to bring to the show. Is maybe not laugh. You know, we want to laugh. Absolutely. We're a couple of clowns for sure. But we talk about the things that we enjoy and the things that give us life and the things that pump us up on this show. We have both been through a lot of personal struggles. We both dealt with life situations that have been really shitty and things that, you know, were not very cash money. And, you know, how do we rebound from that? How did we deal with that? What processes did we use to kind of deal with that? And a lot of that deals with how do we recreate? What fitness patterns are we implementing?
Yeah.
What dietary, you know, like
what game are you playing?
Yeah, what game are you playing? Hey man, like how are you like we're asking each other like, hey, how's your drinking like right now? Like we're constantly talking to each other about like, hey, I'm having less beer, I'm having a little more wine. Yeah. Hey, I'm taking a month off, I'm drying out.
I'm killing it in the gym. I'm not feeling it in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this game. This show's awesome.
Exactly.
Check this album out.
And those are the conversations that at least between the two of us when we don't have a guest, and hopefully when we have a guest as well, we can get their perspective. But those are kind of the conversations we want to have, is just kind of like life in general as a man, you know. Obviously,
we're going to cast a wide net.
Yes.
A wide net.
Yes. And it may go to an emotional, serious place from time to time, and that's okay. We want to keep the vibe light and keep it, you know, like...
I'm wearing flip-flops.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. That's how...
The flippy-floppies should tell you everything you need to know. Absolutely. We like he walked out when we got ready for today, we were like, what should we wear? And shorts and a t-shirt, I think we're right where we want to be, man. We're chilling.
Yeah. I did ask him that. My personality is to overthink and overanalyze everything.
He initially walked out, he had a full tuxedo, bow tie, and a hat and cane. And I was like,
back?
Yeah, dial it back a few notches. Okay. And then he came out in shorts.
Then I came out nude.
I was like, dial it forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's a process, right?
Fine tuning. And then I landed flip-flops,
shorts and
a
t-shirt.
Jimothy Bimothy shirt.
Jimothy Bimothy shirt. There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But no, we're excited for this. I think it's going to be a thing where we could just really talk about the things that bring us joy and fill us up.
Yeah. So. And I think so. Episode 1, we talked about being more, just kind of go with the flow. I think moving forward, episodes will be more structure. We talked about segments. We have some ideas, whether they're staples in every single show or they're once a month, first week of the month, kind of reoccurring ones. So I think going forward, it'll be a little more structured, maybe besides like just the casual open or whatever like that. But, news definitely. And we talked last night about some creative segments. So I think there'll be some structure going forward. This was more of a, who am I? What can you expect? And just, introducing the general vibe of what we're hoping to bring. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you nailed it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really, we have a lot of ideas about how we want to kind of like set the stage, but it's none of it's really stringent. It's not, we're not delivering the news here or anything. But yeah, just the general things that we enjoy. We'll tee things up. We'll talk about things that are coming out that we're excited about, things that we've actively gone now. We're not, again, this is not a review podcast. We're not out here trying to consume every piece of media that drops in a given time frame so that we can review it for you. I honestly hate review culture. I think this culture of like, I want to see this movie, but Rotten Tomatoes said it's bad.
I don't like it either. That will influence me. I've seen a lot of movies and played a lot of games that I loved.
That people shit on.
And then I see the review and I'm like, if I saw the review before I played that, I wouldn't have played it. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. And on the flip side, there are games and movies that I have not watched and not played because the reviews suck.
Yeah.
That there's a fair chance they suck, but there's also a fair chance that I could play them and like.
Yeah. And likewise, there's things that people just revere in this way that's like, it's God's gift to whatever medium it is. And I play it, or I give it a college try at least, and I'm like, there's a lot of that's probably more common with movies, if anything. Like, The Godfather is a fucking snore. Can I be honest? Like there's things like that's an example, but like there's things that people say are just like definitively good.
Yeah,
and you're like, is it?
I'm not a cinematic snob. I judge movies and shows on one thing. Was I entertained?
Yeah.
Did I like it?
Dude, would I watch it again the day after I watched it?
Not how was the lighting?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
And to be clear, there are some movies with long, like movie-ass movies, right? Like the cinematic, lingering shots.
There Will Be Blood. We talked about that.
There Will Be Blood. That's the movie I was thinking of. Did you watch it?
Yeah. That's how we talked about it.
Okay.
The milkshake thing.
I love There Will Be Blood, man. Yeah. That is such a good movie. And that's a prime example of like a weird, like Captain America doesn't come out and defeat Thanos in that movie. It's not one of those just,
It's not a feel good. It's got lingering shots.
It's a feel bad. Like, it's honestly.
It really is. It really is.
But that's exactly the example. See, that's why I hired this guy. No. But yes, like that's a prime example of like a movie that I watch on a repeat basis. And there's something about, I don't know, I can't explain about what it is that defines the magnetism of that movie, but that's a prime example.
It's tense and it's dramatic. And I remember I had it on my movie list. I remember way back, I had heard about it. I hadn't seen it for a long time, and somebody recommended it to me. It's not my wife's jam, so I put it on my movie list, and I waited for the night where I was alone. And I was like, I'm going to watch There Will Be Blood.
That is a guy-heavy movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think there are any like prominent female characters throughout that movie.
No. But it's captivating. And I remember after the credits rolled, I think the first thing I did was text you and say, I didn't know if I asked if you had seen it or whatever, and you were like, dude, not only have I seen it, that's like what in your top, is it like one of your top movies?
It is absolutely in my top 5.
Okay.
So There Will Be Blood and another movie I don't know if you've seen or not called No Country for Old Men.
Dude.
Okay.
The Silent Shotgun.
They came out the same year and were basically like Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa home run race for the Oscar for that one.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
they were two basically competing best films that actually like were good films that I cared about seeing.
That one was frightening.
It is.
That
is
air compressor that he had and his haircut.
It's funny because, like, conversely, a film that came out this year, which we'll talk about, Oppenheimer, is another example of a film that I feel like was teed up to me as being one of the best films in a lot of years.
Yeah.
You saw it before I did. You went to the theater, saw it, as you should.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going to see it, that's probably, I mean, I guess you missed your shot if you haven't done it now because it's fixing to be on video. But
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
I know you did. And I went and saw it first, and I texted you and said, dude, this movie is the truth. This movie is the truth, bro. Like, you have to see it. It's incredible. It blew my mind. I don't know. When I go see a movie in movies, I'm kind of like a stickler. Like, we have this one theater that has this Sony DC, and it's supposed to be like one of, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the country. The sound, the picture, everything is like on another level. And so I went there. And, I got the good seat. I went at a 10 a.m. showing, right? 3-hour movie. I'm like, strategizing how I'm going to see.
Yeah, you got to plan your whole fucking day on that movie.
10 a.m. And I strapped in. I knew I was going to be there for 3 hours. And it blew my mind. I like it was one of those movies where the credits rolled and I didn't move.
Really?
I just stayed there. And the credits ended and I was still sitting there.
I popped up out of my seat so fast. No. I didn't hate Oppenheimer. I think I was a little underwhelmed. I think from an audio visual perspective, absolutely, mind blowing. Everything leading up to the Trinity test.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: they make a big bomb. But everything leading up to that and the bomb and all that stuff was pretty good. But there is so much. I would say from a sensory point, as someone who doesn't like being in a small room with too many people talking too loudly. Yeah. Not the movie for me.
Yeah. I think once you hit about 80%, it moved slow. There was a point where I was like, when they're in that room, are we talking actually about the movie?
Yeah, whatever. The final third of that movie is people talking.
When they go to they're in this movie, or they're in this room, and they're going back and forth, kind of like an interrogation. It did drag on. It paid off, I thought. After that whole thing ended, it paid off. But there was... from 75% of that movie to 95%, it was slow.
It was really slow, and I normally have a lot of I actually love a slow burn movie. Yeah. I really do.
Speaking of There Will Be Blood,
there we go. There Will Be Blood. No Country for Old Men runs over 2 hours for sure. Even a lot of the I think the last great Marvel movie, in my opinion, was Endgame.
Yes, that made me stand up out of my
absolutely
seat.
Yeah, and that's an example of something like opposite side of the spectrum in terms of like artfulness necessarily, but still just the everything was there cinematically and it was fun. There certainly I went into Oppenheimer not thinking like there's gonna be like a Avengers Assemble moment. Like I knew that, but I think it was just a lot of very like thoughtful conversations that probably would have been more fun to read than watch.
Sure. Maybe it'd make a better book. I thought how they handled the explosion itself was interesting because when you think of an explosion, you think of loud volume. Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it was the opposite. It was silent.
Yes.
It was silent.
That part, it reminded me of, and I know a lot of people shit on this movie, but there's a scene in the second sequel Star Wars, the Last Jedi, where it is a spoiler, but it's been out a few years, so fuck it. But when the Laura Dern's character does the hyperdrive through the enemy ships and like splits them in half. Did you see that movie?
I saw that movie.
Yeah. She like they're running, they're fixing to go to the little like red salt planet, whatever.
Okay.
And she turns the ship around and hits the warp speed into the enemy fleet.
Okay.
And it's the same thing of where instead of being like a zoom, bang, pow, zowie, it's like a flash of light. Mm-hmm. And they actually had to do like I think after the film had been out a week or two, they had to do like a sensory warning because it was very like, it's kind of jarring, but it's same energy for the explosion in Oppenheimer.
It was. And the fact, I know we've talked about this is no secret or anything, but everything in that movie, like there was no CGI.
Yeah.
And if you see that movie and you see the explosion, you wonder how that's even possible.
Yeah, everything from the explosion to like there's the cuts away to like what I assume is supposed to be like atoms and stuff, you know, when he's kind of, you know, again, like 20-minute shots of Cillian Murphy like staring off into the stars, and there's like a molecule swirling around.
It's vital to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It builds up. It's all part of the experience.
It's fine. It was a good movie, but that's a prime example of one that I saw once. Don't need to watch it again. Like that. That's not okay. So again, back to the positive end of that. We both loved Dune.
I was late to the party.
You were late to the
party. My God,
Dune.
is that movie sick?
But Dune was one of those examples of films that's kind of a slow burn, kind of long. We're talking Dune 2020 or 2021, not the 1984
1948
Dune.
or whatever.
yes. 1948's Dune. We're talking about the Denis Villeneuve Dune. It's a slow burn. It's long. But as soon as I was done watching that, I wanted to walk back into the lobby and purchase another ticket.
Can I run this back?
Yes.
And that was one of the more devastating news pieces I got, was that Dune 2 wasn't going to come later this year.
Yeah. So I guess that's actually something kind of topical. The writer's strike did reach a tentative agreement this week. So hopefully, that's kind of a big deal. I don't think a lot of people realize the writer's strike has probably made 2024 and shaped that year into probably a pretty light
before we're even there.
Light movie and TV show offering year.
Yeah.
I think so much of what would have come out in 2024 was supposed to have been made over the last, I think it's 4 months the strike went on, and no one was working. So it's a pretty good chance, I think, at least the first half.
Your favorite movie, like Peacemaker 2.
Yeah,
when is
Peacemaker
that
2, Deadpool 3 came to a halt.
Season 2, Peacemaker Season 2.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Which Peacemaker was good. It was good. I actually didn't.
So good.
Did you watch the Suicide Squad? Like the one that he's from?
I'm gonna go with a maybe.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with a maybe.
I'm guessing if you did, you probably didn't stick with you.
There was a couple Suicide Squads, right? That was what was confusing.
So there's the one. So the confusing thing is Margot Robbie's in both of them, playing the same character. Okay,
but totally different.
So continuity immediately is like right out the window. DC needs to get their shit together, man. Holy shit! Like I've already I'll be frank with you right now, and this is no hate. I loved Marvel up to Endgame. I fell off immediately after that.
Yeah.
They've been one or two pretty good. I liked the Spider-Man with all three Spider-Mans. That was kind of cool.
Spider-Man's great. That's the GOAT.
But it does feel like,
in my humble opinion,
it is. Spider-Man's good. I don't feel like DC, even after they've changed over to Gunn, not Tim. I almost said Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn is the dude from James Gunn. Tim Gunn's the dude from Project Runway. Okay. This concerns me. Do you ever watch that show? You ever watch Project Runway?
No.
Oh man,
I've not.
Let me tell you. Come on.
Nah.
You watch The Bachelor with your wife, man. Come
on.
It's in that same vein.
I've dropped off of The Bachelor. At its height, man. It's nothing but drama. It's good. Now it's
Project Runway is the same thing.
The Golden Bachelor now, which
did y'all watch that?
Taylor's watching it.
You're not watching it with her?
I'm not watching it with her. There's no drama. It's apparently he's a good guy. All the ladies are sweet.
Well,
there's no drama. Yeah, I know. I want drama.
I want him to be an asshole.
Yeah, it's actually a really sad story.
Is it really?
It's really. I watched the intro. It's like his wife died.
Is there a dead wife? No.
Yeah, their dead wife. And right when they built their dream house together right on the lake, and right when it got finished within 2 weeks, she got sick.
I don't want to watch that.
Out of nowhere, passed away, and now he's just like, I'm just looking for love, and I don't know how we got on the Golden Bachelor, but yeah, it's. Anyways, yeah, Golden Bachelor, whatever. Not watching it. Bachelors, it can be good, man. If you're in for some drama, I watch it shamelessly.
Shamelessly.
Yes.
Shamelessly.
I do.
I think everyone's got to have a guilty pleasure with TV.
Yeah.
I liked Project Runway. Mm-hmm. I liked Great British Baking Show. Did you ever watch that one?
Not that much, but I like cooking shows. I can get sucked into those.
You'd like the reason I like Great British Baking Show, which is a mouthful. Yeah. It's wholesome. Like they don't have those stingers. On it kind of pisses me off. Like reality shows found this one sound that is like it's like someone dropping an old pan. It's like, you know, like when something bad happens on a reality TV show, like whatever, on a cooking show, someone like burns the chicken. The reality show will play this stinger sound effect that's like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like
I don't know that I do.
you will. I will play it for you after this, and you'll hear it, and you'll be like, oh yeah. And it's a sound that's meant to make you think that what just happened is worse than it is. And the baking show doesn't do that, which I like. It's pretty. Even the people who get voted off, they're like, "Oh, it's all British people," so they're like, "I'm just happy you got to come," you know.
Okay. Well, maybe in the future we'll have drops for the show, and you can just hit that. You know?
Yeah. We'll get a little soundboard here, and we can just
hit our favorite drops.
Oh, I know this. When you hear the sound, you're like, "Oh, that sound."
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. It's iconic.
Well, I'm looking at our to-do list for the show, and we've hit Oppenheimer review. I can cross that off.
Yeah.
We've hit Great British Baking Show review. I can cross that off.
First try. That was pretty good.
And The Golden Bachelor. So we're on a roll.
Yeah.
We're hitting all of our goals for
our
this
key
first
demographic
show.
is fully satisfied. We could end the episode now if we wanted to. We got British Baking Show.
I think this whole thing started by... We were talking about the format for the show moving forward.
Yes.
You said we didn't want to make it a straight review show.
No.
And that launched us into reviewing.
We did.
Like
We just reviewed a whole
so.
bunch of shit. No. But we're going to talk about things like my thing is I hate the idea of FOMO. I think FOMO is one of those things that just has always bugged me, like fear of missing out, especially in the digital age, because
Everything's on demand.
Everything's on demand, and largely, especially even with like video games, like we are kind of getting to this place where you have access to even classic video games,
Right.
for the most part, at all times.
Yeah.
I'm playing through a video game. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima. It came out several years ago.
Right.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah. On your own time.
On my own time, yeah. There's no feeling that like, oh, I've missed the boat, or there's some kind of statute of limitations that I've blown right past. Having a good time with that. You know, it was just something that I just didn't. I wanted to play. It looked cool, but I initially just did not set aside the time to play it. I played other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Moving forward, FOMO is just count that out. We're going to talk about things. And I think that's more fun, too. Like,
Yeah, I think so.
You know, it's easy for us to talk about the things that are new and topical right now, which we might. We played Modern Warfare 3 for a little bit last night, which we can probably talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
But if we go back and play a game that came out 5 or 10 years ago, one thing that Cody and I connect on a constant basis is how much we love Red Dead Redemption 2. That is a game that we that's not like a deep cut at all. I mean, it's I would argue.
Have you heard of Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah. Are you familiar, brother? It's one of the greatest games ever created. It really is. And I know people might roll their eyes at that,
game.
but you cannot touch that game for polish and wit and just breadth of everything that you can do and the things that you can do that look clean and make you feel like a fucking cowboy in that game.
Yeah. And we were talking last night, so we had a very, very short stint with Starfield. And I feel like you can put games in a couple different categories. One being one that it burns bright, but it burns quick.
Yes.
You know, like
yes.
I think we had a couple weeks of like, dude, Starfield, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it dropped off like a cliff.
It did.
And Red Dead came out in 2018, right?
2018, yeah, 5
years ago. And I'm playing it right now. That's the game that I'm playing. I've already finished it. And it's just captivating still.
And my thing with that is like, and not to crap on Starfield, because I know a lot of developers probably worked their ass off to make that game, but it is a thing of when you look at these studios and how hard they're beating their people up to crank out these vast games that do take. Red Dead Redemption 2 took 8 years to develop, and that was under pretty terrible working conditions for a lot of the staff that made it. I'm willing to wait those 8 years if what you give me every 8 years is a Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Because that's a game I can come back to year after year.
That game could be released today.
Yes.
And it would still be.
And it looks better than Starfield, for one. It has more depth and intrigue than Starfield, honestly. There's also, like with Skyrim, as a for instance, same studio, Bethesda Game Studios that made Starfield.
Yeah.
If they had made Skyrim in 2011, as they did, and did nothing for 10 years and then gave me Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Yeah.
That would have been okay, because I understand it takes a lot of work in these games to make them good and give them polish matters.
Yeah, it does.
And
That's what makes it. That's what separates.
It's what separates. It's that quality of life, that feeling of like, hey, I am role playing in a game.
Yeah.
And when the character moves, there is this fluidity that they have. There's a way that a lot of people hate it actually in Red Dead, the way that
it's too real, too slow.
When your character turns, they don't just click left and move. Like they actually, Arthur will lunk around and kind of like it's like he's got like a bad knee or something. I think
it's most evident when you're looting bodies.
Yes,
like it's not just a chink and you have it.
Yes,
it's you have to pick their body up, rustle through their clothes, put it in. If you have to loot 10 bodies that you just cleared out, it takes a while.
Yeah, even like looting items in a cabinet. Like Arthur will kind of pick it up and kind of look at it.
Getting on a horse, same thing.
Yes, and those are things like I think to a lot of people might be like, no, those things are actually kind of tedious. I disagree. I get in like full blown, like I grew up playing with, we had like the G.I. Joes. I think you remember. I had like the 12-inch G.I. Joes, and you could buy like things for them to wear and guns for them. You know what I mean? And it was essentially playing with, it wasn't essentially, it was playing with dolls.
Yeah.
But there is a playing dress up aspect of Red Dead 2 that I just enjoy. I enjoy the day-night cycle. The fact that like you wake up, you get a cup of coffee at the little chuck wagon, right?
Yeah.
You can walk around your camp, visit with people, play cards. Then you go brush your horse. You can do some chores.
Yeah.
And then you go into town. You do a mission. You might do
hit the bar.
Yeah. Go hunt.
Yeah.
And then you come back. The sun is setting. You can go to the chuck wagon, get a beer, and call it a day. And
it's immersion.
It's immersion.
It's immersion. And you can play that game and squint and feel like you're not in a game.
Yes. Absolutely.
Starfield, you're never not going to feel like you're playing a video game.
It is
an unpolished game.
It is very hard to kind of like, all right, yep, sure. Like people move. Like there's glitchy things. It's a Bethesda game. I understand that.
They're built. It's kind of expected, right? It's part of Bethesda's thing.
It is like they almost kind of tout it, and I'm like, when you play that and then you play a Red Dead, and you're like, I don't know if you should be bragging about that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this could have baked another year. You know what I mean? Even like I one of my favorite games I played this year. I know you're not a Nintendo guy, but I played Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm aware of its greatness.
And that is a game where obviously like from a visual standpoint, it's not giving you the Red Dead like the sweeping vistas or anything. It is beautiful, but it is kind of a cartoon
in its own
beautiful.
Way, not a realistic way, but
the polish. They delayed that game 1 year. It was supposed to come out 2022.
Yeah.
They delayed it 1 year to fine tune it.
Yeah.
And they literally said like this game probably could have shipped in 2022, but it would have shipped in a state that was like, oh, we got to patch this. When you do this, it breaks the game. Or it deletes a save file, or the NPCs are literally walking out of frame while they're talking to you, type of shit.
And that's what separate games like that, or like Rockstar. If anything, probably ship too late.
Yeah,
not too late. They'd rather overbake it than underbake it. And then you get games like we've talked about a lot that we actually want to hop on at some point, like Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
that probably wasn't in the oven nearly long enough, and they knew that. It was deadlines that took that game. To the market.
And I feel like we're a couple months into having both admitted, like I kind of want to jump on Cyberpunk.
I really want to.
I feel stopped.
Yeah,
because of that. There's something that keeps stopping me from going to the store and buying it.
What is it? What's stopping you?
I think it's the launch. It's the idea that it came out half baked.
Yeah, and why would you reward them with?
And it's not like, again, like I know game development, like I'm not one of those people that's going to shit on the game devs. I really don't. Like that's people that literally they're not counting dollar. Like the only people that are counting dollar bills and taking a bath in their money are the studio
CEOs
execs.
Stuff, yeah.
The people who made the games that get shit on make less than 100K a year, to do extremely rigorous work
and have zero control over when that game comes out.
Yes, and also might have really beautiful and thoughtful designs about how it should have been, only to have someone who has no context for how coding or art
Here
design
comes
works.
the suit telling
Yeah.
me that this needs to be done by
Exactly.
this Friday. Well,
Yeah.
I need 3 more weeks on it, you know.
So it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
It is more of just kind of hesitance on the behalf of the studio to rush that out the door.
The upside, you can go buy a physical copy of that right now for $20.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I would have a hard time paying. Like I don't know.
The
I like
$70
I like
price tag.
digital stuff better.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to swap the discs. I think we're all
too.
kind of at that
Yeah.
phase. But digital, that game is still $60. If you go buy it online used or any new, a physical copy is $20.
Yeah.
And I can wrap my head around that a little bit better. Supposedly, it's supposed to be
I haven't
good,
bought
though.
a physical disc game. I say disc game because I think it is more. It's a better idea to buy your Switch games physical.
Yeah.
Because of Nintendo's weird about how they do like digital versus physical
Right.
and accounts and all that stuff. But like Xbox, I haven't bought a physical disc game since 2015.
I haven't bought one. My sister got me Assassin's Creed Valhalla for
Okay.
Christmas when
Yeah.
it came out, which that game is awesome.
I've
by
heard
the
it's
way.
a banger.
And she got me the physical copy, which is fine. If you only have one physical copy, it basically acts like a digital copy because it never has to be swapped with any other game. So it's the only physical one I have. It's probably in my Xbox right now, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
works.
I feel that. But yeah. I mean, I don't think FOMO is going to factor into this.
No.
We may both revisit a game that came out in 2015, 2010, whatever. We may hop on some old Mario 3. I don't know. But
Whatever.
yeah, as it comes up, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We did play Modern Warfare 3, I guess to satisfy the, hey, everyone's talking about it. We played that last
Not the
time.
campaign.
Not the campaign.
Not the
No.
campaign.
I honestly, do you remember the last Call of Duty campaign that you start to finish like rolled credits on?
The original Modern Warfare 2, the original one.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't play the Black Ops campaign?
Was that sense?
Yeah, that was
timeline
after.
might be best,
Yeah.
so.
That was an
You know what? Is that the one where he's like strapped to the chair and there's all the TVs?
Yeah, the numbers, Mason. Yeah.
I don't know that I finished. I can't confidently say I played that start to finish. I know like Modern Warfare 2 I did.
Yeah.
Past that, it gets a little blurry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I played. I'm trying to
When
think.
you said that rang a bell. Maybe
Okay.
I did play it, but I
It's been
I
a
couldn't tell you
while.
one
20,
thing about it, yeah.
2010 Black
Yeah.
Ops came out. That's fucking bonkers, man.
we were talking last night. That's what they need to give us. Man. A Black Ops reboot.
Black Ops was a vibe
on.
for sure. Great. That was one of the first Call of Duty campaigns that I played through that had. They really deviated
Firing
from
range. Firing range.
Yeah, bring back firing range.
I
for
love
fuck's
that
sake.
map. It's so good.
That was the first one they really deviated away from just kind of like the cool guy Call of Duty, and they really made that one feel like a movie. I
Yeah.
think that one had a very cinematic in a way that was like this is bigger than just like I'm a tactical shoot guy. But yeah, Black Ops was great. I played that campaign. I'm trying to think of what came after. I didn't play the Black Ops 2 campaign, but I did play Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Was okay. That was basically so. Modern Warfare 2 was the one where the Russians come and there's
Yeah.
kind of a Red Dawn type of
Yeah.
shit. Modern Warfare 3 is kind of you're basically like fighting back against that,
Right.
and then you kill Makarov. I think
Yeah.
is the big Russian guy.
What's the one where at the end you're in the desert and you have the knife stuck in you?
That's
You have to
2.
Tap B to.
That's 2, where
Yeah.
you kill General Shepard. I think
Yeah.
is his
That
name.
one's
the dude with
sick,
the
dude.
beret. Yeah, that's that one. That campaign does hit.
I think it was the original Modern Warfare, the sniper level. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You know
yeah. That one where you're sneaking around in the ghillie suit.
ghillie suit.
All ghillied up is that mission.
I'll give it.
I'll
That
give
was
it
one
up.
of the first missions I remember just being like just speechless. You know, speechless.
Speechless.
Yeah, whatever. Just I remember reading the reviews on that game and that mission specifically.
Yeah.
And the tension. There's a part where I think it's after you've taken the sniper shot and you're laying in that field. Maybe it was before. I don't know. And the tanks are rolling by you
Yeah.
and the
Yep.
soldiers are rolling by
Yeah.
you and you don't do anything, but you're on your couch and you're sitting there, you're ducking like that.
That's the shit we need to get back to
Yeah.
for Call of Duty campaigns.
It was
But
that's sweaty palms right there.
saying all that, I haven't played one since I think Ghost. Honestly, was the last Call of Duty campaign that I played. No, Advanced Warfare. I played Advanced Warfare, the one where you're wearing
Like jetpacks and
the
stuff.
power suit,
Yeah.
jetpack shit. That was the one with
was fine.
Kevin Spacey. That's where the
Yeah.
the pay F to pay respect or press F to pay respects came from. Like the where you put your hand on the coffin and all that stuff.
Okay.
Wasn't very good, but Yeah, I don't care about the Modern Warfare 3 campaign being bad. I think as someone, we both play the multiplayer of Call of Duty on a regular basis.
It's our jam. That's what we do.
It really is our jam. It's an easy thing you can do with someone you don't live in the same town with. That is pick it up and go. We can play 30 minutes. We can play 3 hours.
Yeah.
And every time it's fun. I got to say, it felt really snappy. It felt really good.
Yeah.
I love that rather than wheeling out a bunch of new maps, I think we're at that point where we're at kind of max map paralysis.
Right.
Like, we have enough Call of Duty maps. Let's bring some of them back. I think that's what they did with this. We played a match on Terminal last night. It was really fun.
Sweet.
We played, what else did we play on? I think Favela's back. We played Estate. Estate is back.
Estate, the one, Scrapyard?
Scrapyard is back.
Quarry was one that I saw. We didn't get to play it, but Quarry stands out to me.
Quarry's back. There's a lot of really iconic, really classic Modern Warfare era maps.
I think it's cool. There's a part of me that is bothered by them collecting $60 just to give us something that we've already been given.
It is. I want to be abundantly clear. It is a DLC.
It's a ripoff.
It is a full price DLC.
It's fun. It's polished. It's snappy. It's fun.
Here's what makes this thing
ripoff.
worth $70 is a worthwhile campaign.
Yeah.
We're not playing the campaign, baby. This should have been $30. This should have been easily. It should have been. I think $30 is a fair price for more guns, an update to the UI, basically a change of the look that lets you know, hey, we've entered a new era.
Like
all right,
a reskin, you know?
Yeah, reskin. Modern Warfare 2's over. Here's a bunch of new guns. Like, you have access to all of your Modern Warfare 2 guns.
Yeah.
But there is, like, I looked at them and I kind of stopped short because I wanted to level up the new guns that it was kind of unlocking for me.
Yeah.
That is all great. It's not $70 worth.
Right. Yeah.
So,
man, we just jumped into another. Maybe this is a review podcast.
Maybe this is a review pod shit.
I wanted to say that when we were talking about what is going to be on this podcast and what's not going to be, I think viewer, what's the word? Like viewer input, feedback, will be huge. We'd love to hear what you do like, what you don't like, what you would like to hear, what you would not like to hear, right? I mean, we're doing this for fun. We're doing this to do together, but we do want whoever's listening to enjoy it, right? So not saying we're going to
maybe
take whatever you're saying to heart.
Take it or leave it, honestly, is my opinion.
Put it out there. We may or may not use it, but... Man, feedback,
We do, yeah. And I've opened up
feedback. Are you saying no feedback?
I've opened up the channel. No. I like feedback. I was just being a shithead.
Feedback.
Yeah. Fuck it. Better be good feedback though. No, we've opened up the channels. I've put out there on Instagram and I think the Hardpoint Instagram, and then I have a Discord also. Put out kind of a prompt to get people to write in and just if you want to. Respond to something that you heard on a previous episode that made you happy, made you sad, made you angry. We can definitely we're going to open up. We'll have a segment at the end of each episode where we talk about that and kind of respond to that.
You could get read right here.
You could get, hey, baby, hear me out. But yeah, we want to have a write-in segment. Is the short answer. So if you're listening to this and you want to do that. Send us a DM to our Instagram. We'll have...
Or the email. That'd be a good place, right?
What is our email?
Our email is hardpointpod
at gmail.com. Hardpointpod at gmail.com.
Yes.
Send us an email. If you want to send us, if it's too long, if you give us a TLDR, I can't promise you're going to make it on the show. Better be fucking good.
Use paragraphs.
Yeah.
We don't need one.
Yeah.
Not the one long.
Give us the fucking inside flap of what you want to say. And if it's poignant, if it's salient, even if we were wrong and you were right,
corrections will not be read.
Yeah, no. We'll throw that shit in the trash can. No. Hey, we're humble here. But yeah, no, we want to try to involve the community as much as we can. We're talking about some other aspects, some content that we want to make that we can probably have at kind of a premium level that you guys can get to know us a little more and maybe have some interactions with us. That's definitely something we want to do.
Maybe you could be sitting right here.
Hey, We could.
Maybe.
We've talked about doing some live and in color episodes. We're going to have some giveaways. We talked about doing some giveaways.
Giveaways coming up.
We are working on some merchandise. I know that probably seems a little early, but yeah, we're working on some T-shirts, maybe some hoodies, some hats.
Yeah.
But that's some stuff that we'll have available for you guys in the future.
Yeah.
We're already kind of thinking about how to how to take care of our fans and how to get you guys hyped to keep coming back each week. Got a lot of really fun guests already lined up. Already, yeah. We've got a lot of my friends in the video creator kind of club business field, whatever.
I got some aspirations and not the video club creator field.
We've got some between the two of us. I think we've got a pretty good lineup of people who want to come on the show, and I think it'll be fun to get their input on some of this stuff.
I think so too. I think having a third voice, just to be involved and ask questions and kind of bring their following and all have a kumbaya,
a kumbaya, a little round table powwow type of thing. Yeah. But hey, we want to thank you guys for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Again, this is again, it's a long time coming for us. I think it's gonna be a good time. It's the first episode, so I don't know if it feels like a rough start. It probably was.
It's because it was a start.
It was a start, yeah. But we're really excited, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this, man.
I think so too. This fun episode, fun first time. I think we hit a lot of stuff.
Cherry popped.
How much? I don't know how much we talked about what we're doing versus
we're not going to review things.
A lot of Black Ops.
And then proceeded to review things. We did talk about Black Ops and Oppenheimer quite a bit.
Like I said, though, moving forward, I think we'll have more structure, segments. I have some really cool ideas. And maybe we'll have more of a format that what's coming each week versus you and I starting here and ending over there.
The first episode was an enigma. Like, I think we know what a week to week is going to be like, what you guys can typically, but we had to set the scene somehow. And I think you can't get around like talking about what gave us the impetus to do this and who we are and why we wanted to do this. So
I needed to learn how to talk into a microphone.
You did good.
Did I stay at an appropriate distance away?
I think you were right in the sweet spot, man.
All right.
None of this over here,
None of the sideways.
Yeah. No, you were right in the sweet spot, man.
Yeah. It's, a lot of learning, but it's fun. This was fun.
It is fun.
We're an hour and 3 minutes now.
Hour and change, yeah.
I thought the first episode we might struggle to get to an hour just because we were going to be going nowhere.
Yeah.
And
zero dead space, I'd say.
I think we could probably go for another. So if this was a little winding road, that's fine. But I think the fact that we could sit here and bullshit for an hour and feel like we could go for another, that's why we're doing a podcast together, right?
Yeah.
Because we can talk.
We can talk. And hopefully all that bullshit was interesting to you guys. No, I had a good time, man. Again, reach out. We'd love to read your feedback and just, if you got a funny story or a funny question you want to ask or tell us a story, ask one of us a question about us. That's fine. A joke? Yeah,
Jokes
tell
are
us
allowed.
It better be good.
It better be dirty.
God help me. The Hardpoint Pod. Hardpointpod at gmail.com.
Yep.
We're also on Instagram at Hardpoint_podcast is our go by on there.
YouTube is just the Hardpoint.
The Hardpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll link to everything in the description. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching the video component, we'll have all that linked in the description. Same thing on the Spotify, Apple Podcast offering as well.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here, man. If you made it to this point on episode 1,
God bless you.
That means a lot.
That does mean a lot.
And hopefully you hadn't been holding out to watch No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, and Oppenheimer.
Spoiled.
Because we fucked all that up for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't even bother now. No, but hey, thanks for watching. I've been One Punch Dad.
I'm Code Romes.
And we will catch you on the flippy.
See ya.